Apple, this guy again. Hello and welcome to another episode of With Enough Prep Time. I'm your host, the Nerd Man, and today we're talking about Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. The reviews have come in and they're looking good. So I was just coming on to respond to what should Warner Brothers do with Zack Snyder in light of the Army of the Dead reviews. Now, obviously, people know from my channel that I actually really enjoyed Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I hope that to some extent, limited extent, that this universe continues. But I know that I have a few comments in the comments section here. So just Collaborative Kiwi says, hello, man. Hi, dude. We have Kazi Nadir Alam added, whose name I'm probably butchering, but says, just read the reviews. This is the kind of movie Snyder excels at, a dumb, fun action movie with Snyder's attempts at humanizing characters. One thing critics agree, Snyder just bloats the runtime. Okay. Also, it doesn't help that Snyder is as subtle as someone smashing their balls against the car door. The main point is Snyder. I like the metaphor, or simile. The main point is Snyder. It's actually a metaphor. Sorry. The main point is Snyder made a dumb, fun action movie with his trademark human elements. Yeah. Another thing critics also said, the movie should not be a two and a half hours. They said easily an hour could have been cut out and it wouldn't affect the story at all. Thanks for reading. Stay safe, Nerdman. Guys, keep the comments coming so I can respond to them, because this is going to be a pretty short. I wasn't planning on doing much by way of saying much by way of this. So I'm just going to go to the Rotten Tomatoes score of Army of the Dead to see exactly what it's at the moment. So we have it at 77% at the moment on Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm going to try and share the screen with you. See if I can share the screen now. Okay, so yeah, we have it at 77 Rotten Tomatoes. That, and then we can talk. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, I'm going to go through a couple of the reviews as well and see what it looks like in terms of top critics versus just, normal average critics. But I want to get this out of the way so I can have just a free-flowing conversation with you guys. So basically my attitude, and I want to say this and I want to put this on record now before anyone says I made this up afterwards. This is something I'm saying right now, my prediction, right? And I've said this on previous videos as well. So here's my hot take prediction. The WB are going to come running back to Zack Snyder's vision eventually. I think, when you look at what's going on, I knew that the Snyder Cut was very, very popular despite what Warner Brothers were saying. And you look at the Asian numbers now, you're looking at China got 250 million views apparently. I don't know if that's true. I want to get more facts about that before I state that, or more statistics to look at that and see that number, if it's actually true or if it's just something that is ruminating around the internet as a kind of, one of those internet kind of rumors and facts that haven't got like much basis, because I haven't seen any of the main outlets reporting on it. So it doesn't seem to be anything, like the Hollywood Reporter or anything like that, any big name, trades are actually discussing at the moment. But I imagine it did quite well in China if they're talking about those kind of numbers. I don't think they've just pulled those numbers out of nowhere. I also think if you look at it, basically the Snyder Cut was trending. It was successful. It did quite good numbers on HBO Max, not the numbers that, Snyder Cut fans would have liked. Or restored the Snyderverse people would have liked, but it did quite good numbers. So here's my thing. It's what I've said since the beginning, since after Justice League. The Warner Brothers should lock down the deal with Zack Snyder now. He's one of the hottest directors in the world after the Snyder Cut released. And if the Army of the Dead is any good, they need to lock down a deal with Zack Snyder prior to him, getting lots and lots of, competition in terms of people wanting to work with him, whether that be the Marvel universe, other superhero universes. There are going to be people approaching Zack Snyder if this movie is good because they're going to know about the numbers, the numbers of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Plus, if this Army of the Dead does good, then Warner Brothers is really going to find themselves in a bind when they have to deal with actually approaching Snyder after everything they've done with him to be able to get to the negotiation table with him. And the reason I say this is because I prefer a Snyder that is controlled. I do not prefer a Snyder that has free reign over these DC movies. So by approaching him now, before this film's numbers come out, because Netflix are not going to hide the numbers like HBO Max and Warner Brothers have been hiding the numbers. If this Army of the Dead is a success, they are going to let us know about it. They are going to put it front and center of the marketing of Army of the Dead. And again, with the next movie he does, if cinemas are open, if it makes $1 billion, and with the approach that Warner Brothers is taking now to these superhero movies, who knows what their new slate is going to make? If they get in trouble, if some of their movies bomb, a couple of their movies bomb, you best believe that they will go back to Zack Snyder, and by then he will be in the strong negotiating position with Warner Brothers. They won't be able to give him rules. They won't be able to give him guidelines. They won't be able to say, look, we don't want certain things to happen. Right now, he's in a vulnerable position. Right now, they have him over a bind with what's happened with Ray Fisher and all of those things. They can use that as leverage to negotiate a reasonable deal with him, both financially and, of course, in terms of his vision as a director, like what he's going to do with the Justice League. You do not want to have him have a contract with them where it's like, oh, just give Snyder, the money and he can do anything he wants with the Justice League. That's the worst position Warner Brothers can be in. And that's the position they will be in if they have to get him after he makes really this movie successful, and maybe a successful franchise on Netflix, or say goes on to do $1 billion IP for another company. They need to get him now. As I said, they're in the strong negotiating position. They're the ones who don't want him. He knows he has some fans, but he knows he's pissed off Warner Brothers. He really wants this IP. He really wants to work in this world. Get him and make sure you can control him. That's all I wanted to say, really. That's basically my point. So I'm going to go on to some of the comments here. Now that Snyder is working at Netflix and Sony has signed an exclusive deal with them, do you think that Snyder could do something Spidey related? I could see him doing a Spider-Man, a noir type deal. Exactly. Again, and if he does that movie and it makes bank, well, that's when Warner Brothers are going to come running back, because again, Matt Reeves, I think, is somebody that they can use to launch a new universe for the DCEU. So maybe if that's successful, they can actually use that as a launching pad for a new DCU, like a kind of Matt Reeves universe, right? So perhaps that is the route they can go, especially if they want to have that unique DCEU voice. They're doing a lot with different directors at the moment, so hopefully some of those will pan out. But I think those great directors and great writers and talent that they're bringing on are being used for the wrong IPs, like Blue Beetle, Supergirl. What was the other one that they're using it for? Zatanna. These are not characters that really anybody. There's already a bit of a comic book fatigue, and you want your A team out there working for you. And these directors to be on the biggest IPs of DC. Zatanna is not one of those. So I just don't see the point in them, putting such great talent, such great directors on these kind of IPs. But we'll see. I think they're going to fail. I think they're going to bomb. I think even if Zatanna is good, people aren't going to go and watch it. I really do. I think it will bomb big time. I don't think they're big enough. They're not big enough IPs. You need the Wonder Womans, you need the Superman, and especially if you haven't got the Snyder, the Snyder fans actually supporting these movies as well. They're gonna not do well. The best ones are gonna be the Batman. Hopefully Shazam. I think more people would have watched the original Shazam movie and there'll be more interest in that movie. I think that movie could clock up to about 700 million itself, maybe 750 million. Batman, I think, is over $1 billion. And I think The Flash, depending on the quality and where they go, that's $1 billion franchise after where Snyder left The Flash in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So hopefully, if those three pan out, then Warner Brothers might have something. But I think they're going to have a lot of bombs. I think their Black Superman is going to be a bomb. I think Zatanna is going to be a bomb. I think Blue Beetle. Hopefully, that could make money. Because of the Hispanic kind of connection, so it might bring in a good audiences who want to see representation like that. I'd certainly support a movie like that because it's got an Hispanic lead, and I want to see more representation in these comic book movies. So that might do a little bit well, but I don't think it's going to do crazy numbers. It's the character's name is Blue Beetle, for God's sake. It screams of superhero fatigue, the kind of movie that people will be like, God damn, do we have to have more superhero shit? There's too much of it. There's Ant-Man, there's Blue Beetles. It's that kind of a movie that I just think people aren't going to be interested in. As I said, like Zatanna, I don't see that making bank at all. I think that's going to be a bomb. What else is there? You had Static Shock. I think Static Shock could make a little bit of money, but you can see that, depending on which one of these movies comes out first, maybe Blue Beetle or Zatanna comes out first. And if they bomb, Warner Brothers is going to be very, very reluctant to move forward with the rest of their movies, unless they're filming these at the same time. If Blue Beetle bombs, they're going to be like, hey, wait a second. Are we sure about this approach? Because we've got Blue Beetle we've made no money with, and we're bringing out Zatanna. She's another unknown character. Maybe we should. They'll get nervous and they'll hesitate on these once a couple of these start to bomb. So that's the real worry with this approach that they're taking. So let me go on to the next one. Hey, Netflix might want to pick up what WB wasted and give Snyder a chance to do something more superhero related. Absolutely, I think so. If you need a second opinion, I'm free, LL. Yeah, I'm trying to do a quick one. Maybe later we can do something. Happy recent Snyder films are getting more well received. I agree with you. Warner Brothers is going to realize that they made a mistake letting Snyder go. I think they are, but like at the same time, they did and they didn't. That's the problem. It's like his ideas need to be shaped. And I don't want him to be in a negotiation position, which is strong, where he can strong arm, Warner Brothers into making, a movie which I'm sure will split audiences and divide audiences again. I want him to come in and be able to negotiate, like what kind of things he can do with these Justice League characters for the second movie. And then, but anyway, I mean that's what I mean. Like just generally, I think he needs some rules, some guidelines, and I don't think if he's too successful, if he's too big, by the time they want to reuse him, then you're going to have a real problem in terms of being able to give him rules and guidelines. He's going to say, no, I'm going to do this movie. And if I'm going to do this movie and you want me to direct it and you want all my Snyder fans to give you, their money, then, you're going to have to let me do whatever I want with the Justice League. And I think that will be a terrible, terrible idea. People know he has an actual plan, unlike the WBDC's handling. Yeah, I agree. He does have a plan. I don't know. I'm always so happy with what his plan is, but yeah, I like his plan a little bit more than Warner Brothers because it has some kind of cohesive. It's basically a cohesive map, so that we can see all the glorious characters that we like. But again, he didn't have Green Lantern in his second movie, in his second Justice League movie. He didn't have Martian Manhunter in it, as far as I know. So I hope the plans have changed for, significantly for that movie. Bruh, I'd love to see Snyder tackle a Punisher or a Ghost Rider film. Yeah, those are films that I think he could tackle, and I think they'd make a lot of money because those are names that people recognize. Especially comic book fans recognize, and they're cool. Ghost Rider sounds cool, Punisher sounds cool. Blue Beetle, Zatanna, it's a harder sell. Don't think Snyder is going to follow any mandate at all. He is following Nolan's mandate, which is to do whatever you want. Bullshit. He already, this is what I keep telling people, after BVS, Warner Brothers told him to go back and change the Justice League film. He will follow rules. He's not Nolan. He will follow rules. He will do what he's told if you're in a stronger position than him. He's shown that already. I mean, Nolan's mandate worked with Tenet, right? Yeah. Did you read my previous comments? Yeah, I did at the beginning. He did. No, he did not. He did not. The only mandate he was given was Green Lantern. Even then, GL was not supposed to be in Justice League. It was Martian Manhunter. Then he just wanted to have GL because reasons. Dude, he actually did. I keep telling people this. Go and look. He basically, after Batman v Superman came out, Warner Brothers was very unhappy with the reception, and they told him and Chris Terrio, go back and rewrite this and add more heart and add more fun and add more humor to this story. That's what they told him. Now, I don't think they said to him, that I don't think they said to him like that he they didn't write the story for him or rewrite it. That's what happened when Joss Whedon came on board. But before then, Jeff Johns, John Berg was there to basically babysit Zack Snyder and tell him like what he can and can't do. So again, he was willing to go through that exercise, but Warner Brothers just pushed him too far to the edge, where they were just becoming, tyrants with it, instead of saying, "Hey, here's the guidelines, here's the rules, make the movie." That's what they should do. Here's the guidelines, here's the rules, make the movie. If you can't deal with that, go away. That's how I see it. Because again, you do not want Snyder fans. I'm telling you, you don't want his next movie to be divisive. And I can see it a mile away. If he goes with the kind of story he wants to do, he can just tweak that story a little bit and make it more palatable for general audiences while still appeasing Snyder fans. I'm talking about the Mad Max universe thing that he wants to do. LOL, I didn't say anything related to that. Before you write anything, he just wanted GL because he had nothing in the original script. Snyder just wanted to put more things in GL to bloat it. That's true. And I think all the best parts of Zack Snyder's Justice League were everything he filmed before the 70 million, as far as I can see. By the way, please guys, give me a high five, smash that like button if it helps the algorithm. You know how it is. Thanks guys. So let me just read that. Again, I didn't say anything related to what you're bringing up, so whatever. I don't know what you're talking about. I want Snyder to make a movie about Zack Snyder making a movie about Snyder making a movie. There we go. Philosophical pickle, come here to troll me as per usual. The story of Snyder behind the Snyderverse. But I think Ghost Rider is right up his alley. Yeah, I'd love to see him do a film like that, naturally dark. Imagine if the MCU picks up Snyder to do something like that. I think, yeah, that would be great. That really would be. Yes, and I want Adam Sandler to play Zack Snyder. He'd be a good Zack Snyder. That's good casting. He'd be really good, actually. He'd have to lose a bit of weight, but like I could see him capturing the spirit of Zack Snyder. LOL, you and Adam Sandler. Yep. I wouldn't trust Snyder to touch Marvel characters, dark or not. Maybe he could do Ghost Rider. Well, dude, when this movie is successful, we'll see. I think you might find that Kevin Feige is the type who likes money, and he'll just see this movie doing well, Army of the Dead, and choose to try and go with Zack Snyder anyway. Hashtag Adam Sandler for Daniel Day-Lewis biopic. Again, very good casting. I like that. And Supervised, Feige will not pick up Snyder. Feige is the guy who puts material over talent. If Snyder gets picked up, he has to follow what Feige tells him. I think Feige might make an exception for Zack Snyder. I think he would make sure the script is tight, make sure he's happy with the script, and then tell Snyder to go and shoot it. I really do. And it just depends on getting the right thing, because he knows he likes money, and the Snyder fans will follow him over to the a Marvel movie. It might not be an MCU movie. It might just be a Marvel movie that they just make as a separate kind of entity. I think I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige could convince them to do that. Adit didn't know you worked for Marvel. If Snyder makes money, then you bet your ass Feige will look at him. Definitely. They'll at least consider it. I mean, there's going to be board meetings. If the numbers are true in China, especially, and if you've got and if Army of the Dead does really well, I mean, he's the most talked about director on the planet right now. That's the truth. What other director do people talk about this much? There are so many better directors than Zack Snyder who deserve this much attention, which is hilarious to me. But he is the most talked about director on the fucking planet. Of course, everybody from Universal to all the rest of the companies, Lionsgate, are probably thinking, what can Zack Snyder direct for us? You know, they are. That's just a fact. Yeah, at least consider him. I honestly think Snyder could direct Mahershala Ali's Blade, if anything, a dark martial arts vampire movie. Yep, that is true. That is true. Again, you know, I have to say this: whether you like him, you don't like him, he's the most talked about director on the planet at the moment, and that means everyone in Hollywood. If I'm talking about him and everyone on the internet's talking about him, everyone in Hollywood is talking about him, apart from Warner Brothers, and that's foolish. He wants to be in the Warner Brothers business, and they could strike a deal with him right now before any of these reviews come out. So I'm going to look over the reviews a little bit before I do my actual review of Army of the Dead. So I'll leave it at that, basically. Thanks, guys, for all of your comments. Really, really appreciated, as per usual. What I'm going to do is ask you, please, to subscribe for more content. Of course, give me a high five, smash that like button, comment. I will respond to the comments, hopefully. And apart from that, what's this? Yes, Blade or Ghost Rider for sure. I would definitely see that. But Marvel is only looking at black writers and directors because I guess they think no one but black people can direct black directors. Yeah, you know, that's true about the Blade, which is unfortunate. Yeah, he would make a really good director for Blade, actually. I wish they would look at him for something like that. But you know what? I think he could be, again, like a dark Marvel universe, like disconnected from the MCU. They could do that, you know. They've got the IP. They can do that. They could even do it with in a conjunction with a different studio if they don't want to blemish, you know, Disney's reputation. So again, you get Zack Snyder in that world to direct some of those movies, and I think, you know, you'd make good money if they're good, you know. Zack Snyder's got some storytelling problems, but if they're good, they could make really good money. Feige bringing the Snyder fans over to the MCU would be smart and an extra fan base of support. Absolutely. Marvel Knights, baby. Yep. Blade and Black Superman are being hyper-focused on race, not on if a person is the best for the job, regardless of race. That's an issue. You know, dude, you could say that, but like at the same time, there are great black directors, so I don't see why you wouldn't give them the opportunity to do these movies. There's no difference. Look, it's like saying if you've got a bunch of people who have different equal merit, like there's a bunch of black directors, Asian directors who are making fantastic movies. So of course they're qualified to make a Blade movie. So give them the opportunity to make a Blade movie. You never, because in the end of the day, it is true, one thing, that a black person writing and directing a black person actually is able to discuss and bring up things that maybe a white director might not know, or an Asian person directing an Asian you know, IP might know things about Asian culture that they can bring into the film that a white person might not know. That's not me saying that I don't think white people should be able to direct a black action movie or a black superhero. Not at all. But I don't think it's completely crazy to be like, oh yeah, let's get a few more black people behind the camera, or, you know, writing these movies. And let's give them some good, you know, good IPs. I don't think they should be doing Black Superman. I think they should be doing other things. But in terms of Blade, I can completely understand that. They could just, you know, I don't think this is something that should be continued, you know, forever. I shouldn't think black people should be able to direct white people should be able to direct black people, etc., etc. Asians should be able to direct white, black, Asian, anything in between. And I encourage that because, you know, you want like more multicultural kind of environments within cinema. But again, you know, I don't mind the idea of a few black superheroes being directed by black directors, just so that they can discuss things that maybe, you know, a white director or a white person might not intuitively know, right? And they can explore things in that way. That's all I'm saying. Hell yeah, new Marvel Knight Cinematic Universe, right? Of course, there are black directors. I'm just saying that Marvel only looking at black directors is an issue. I could see James Wan doing Blade, but he's not black, therefore no opportunity. Yeah, but I can see a number of black directors doing Blade. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's like there's a certain level that these guys are at where they're so competent at what they do. I mean, I'm not talking about like someone like Tanishi Coates, okay? That's terrible, right? But like you've got a certain level of directors at a certain point where, and you know, in future, dude, you could have Gareth Evans direct Blade. I don't think that's what I'm saying. I don't think this should be something like a rule from now on. But as far as things are concerned, how many black directors have actually directed superhero movies, or Asian directors have directed superhero movies? I don't think very many. I think it's been almost 98% white. So it's fine to try and bring some talent from different, you know, places in, especially since they make great movies. So what's the problem here? I don't see the problem in, you know, ensuring that you give opportunities to various different types of people: gay people, black people, women, etc., etc. You want to give those opportunities to them, but at the same time, as I said, like this, it's also very important that we don't make this an absolute rule. Of course, if somebody, if James Wan or you know, you know, James Cameron comes with a sick pitch for a black superhero, and they want to make that movie, let them make that movie. I think Nolan's Tenet was quite a very good movie, you know, starring David, you know, Washington. I think many Spike Lee movies where he's directed white people, you know, like It's Mainly Been a White Story, have been very excellent movies. Not the recent ones. I'm talking about old Spike Lee, by the way, just so you know. So I don't think it should be a rule. I think the idea of it being a rule is what bothers me. But if you're just trying to mix things up a little, I think that's fine. And then you know, once you've got a lot of more talent behind the camera, then you can go on and, you know, make things a bit more free. You don't need a black director for Blade. It's not like Black Panther, where his race is actually important to the story. Blade 2 was directed by Del Toro and was the best Blade film. Badass. I didn't say you need a black director to direct Blade. That's not what I'm saying. I think you're insinuating things that I'm saying that I'm not. I think, let me make it clear. I'm saying there are enough great black directors, like, who are making great films, that for you to say, oh, you should get the most qualified person for it, there's a point at being so hyper qualified that there really is no difference. I mean, they're already extremely qualified guys, so just give them an opportunity to direct some superhero movies. That's it. There are guys as qualified as James Wan, as qualified as Zack Snyder, as qualified as any of those people who can make these movies. That's all I'm saying. There's no, you know, like I don't see that. Are you trying to say that you think the most qualified person to direct Blade is a white person and that's definitive? I don't. There's too many talented black directors for that to be. I don't know. I think we're going in because I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. You shouldn't just have black directors directing black superheroes or any of that kind of variation. I think you should always mix it up. But there are still around 98, 99% of directors of these movies are white. So let other people direct. It's not a big deal. Stephen Cappell Jr. is being looked for Blade, and to be fair, I'm actually cool with that. I agree. Exactly. Give black directors a chance on all the movies, not just the black ones like Blade and Black Panther. I agree with that. I mean, that's what I'm saying, and I think you should give everyone the opportunity to direct everyone else because you get a good. I think the more mixed you get on a set or in any culture, the better it is for everybody. I really do agree with that. Philosophical pickle facts. That's the point. They haven't been given the opportunity, and it's clear what they're doing now. If a black man or woman is perfect for Fantastic Four or Hulk, let them do it. Yeah, absolutely. But they only getting black people for black movies. It's laughable. I don't know that that's what they're doing. I think there's how many have they done? They've done Black Panther. They're now doing Blade. You know, and there's the Black Superman, which I don't agree with. So that's a completely different thing. But for Blade and Black Panther, and for the Asian movie, Shang-Chi, you've only got 3 movies there. So I think for these first few movies, yes, it's nice to let an Asian or a black person, especially since they've done Blade before and it's been directed by 3 white directors, I believe. So why not give a black director the opportunity? Again, it's because the character is black. There are things that black people know about themselves that you may not know if you're from another culture. And so I think that's the same for Shang-Chi with the Asian thing. And by the way, wasn't Mulan directed by a white woman? So I don't really see this thing of like, as long as it's not a rule, but since these are the first movies coming out, I think, yeah. And it's not like they've given black people or Asians that much opportunity to direct movies of white superheroes most recently. They haven't. I mean, it's you know, even when Rick Fumiyama wanted to direct The Flash, he was basically had to leave because of creative differences. So I think again, you know, Del Toro is Hispanic and did Blade 2. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Which is true. That's a good point. With Black Superman and Blade, it's starting to become a trend, a rule for only black directors to direct black characters. Look, I don't agree with it being a rule. If that's what you're trying to suggest, I don't agree with it being a rule. I'm going to say it over and over again. I don't agree with it being a rule. I only think that giving them the opportunity is a good thing. That's it. Facts, straight facts, philosophical pickle. I agree that blacks and other minorities should be given a lot more opportunities, but not properties that are doomed to fail and to be divisive, that it can hurt their chances to direct other films. That's why I'm against the Black Superman. I don't think Blade is doomed to fail. I don't think Black Panther's good. So yeah, I don't see that as what I'm saying. I don't want them to do a Black Superman film. I've stated that clearly. Me and you are on the same wavelength, bro. Okay. JG Shaolin should direct Blade. Yeah, absolutely. Del Toro is Hispanic, did Blade 2. Yep. JG for Blade, yeah. Holland is the best. Spidey and Tom Cruise is overrated. There you go. We are no longer on the same wavelength. You ruined it. We are no longer friends. You are now my enemy. They're having a little back and forth get back there. Gooby Jr. gonna cry. All right, look, guys. I wanna make sure that everyone understands that I'm not saying only black people should direct black superheroes and only gay people should direct gay superheroes and any of that. I'm just saying these are three movies that they've done this with. If they keep doing it, I will have a problem with it, right? If it's like, 5, 6, 7 movies down the line and it's like only black people can direct, that's bullshit. You need to be able to mix it up. You need to be able to have any voice that is passionate about a character be able to direct that character. That for me is just, it's pure sense, right? Some of Spielberg's movies covering like The Color Purple, covering certain issues in past with whatever, like the civil rights movement, were excellent movies. You don't need to be white to make an excellent movie about like anything to do with black people, whether it be their struggles in past, or whether it be just having a cool black character like who's just going about their business. Anybody can make a good movie regarding that. But at the same time, I'm saying for the first few movies, it doesn't bother me. If it goes on for a long time, it will start to bother me. Superwise, LOL, only if you can get an R rating. That's a cute channel. Did your husband give it to you? Philosophical pickle. This is going into like a thing. Like, I don't even think you're listening to me anymore. Yep, call up Marvel now. Yes, he did. And LOL, not the scripted response. And all right, I'm gonna leave it there. I missed the part where that's my problem. I don't know if I'm not even sure what you guys are talking about anymore. All right, so guys, give me a high five, smash that like button. Obviously, do subscribe and comment. Oh gosh, let's see this one last comment. But even with a black director, a lot of Africans. There was the question if he was going to do African culture justice, so it can be a positive or negative. For a lot. Yeah, okay. We're just quoting Spider-Man 1, Nerdman. Okay. Misery, misery, misery. I offered you friendship and you spat in my face. Okay, another Spider-Man quote. Right, good. So I'm going to leave it at that. And of course, I'm going to see you on the flip side, and love you 3000. Peace.